My day job is as the chairman and the co-founder of Thorn. We build software to fight human trafficking and the sexual exploitation of children. And that's our core mission. My other day job is that of the father of two, a 2-month-old and a 2-year-old. And as part of that job that I take very seriously, I believe that it is my effort to defend their right to pursue happiness and to ensure a society and government that defends it as well. But the right to pursue happiness for so many is stripped away. It's raped. It's abused. It's taken by force, fraud, or coercion. It is sold for the momentary happiness of another. I've seen video content of a child that's the same age as mine being raped by an American man that was a sex tourist in Cambodia. And this child was so conditioned by her environment that she thought she was engaging in play. I've been on the other end of a phone call from my team asking for my help because we had received a call from the Department of Homeland Security telling us that a 7-year-old girl was being sexually abused and that content was being spread around the dark web. And she had been being abused and they'd watched her for 3 years and they could not find the perpetrator, asking us for help. We were the last line of defense. An actor and his foundation were the potential last line of defense. That's my day job, and I'm sticking to it. Can we build the tools that are better than their tools to fight what's happening? There are sites in the United States that do this other than Backpage, a lot of them, in fact. There are sites internationally that are doing this. There are other sites. It's happening all over the place. It's been happening for decades in print media. We're now just recognizing it for what it is, and I think that that's the most important part. And secondarily to that is let's build the tools, let's finance the tools, and let's deploy the tools to fight back.
Dumb and Dumber 2 opens tomorrow. Please say hello to Jim Carrey. Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue.
Oh, I like it. It is a scraping.
It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? Like, for years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things, and, you know, and you know, look at him trying to come it up. It's hilarious, hilarious. And, you know, and I'm sick of, hold on a second. You know what they're trying to do?
Who?
This thing is buzzing. Hold on. They're trying to turn us into, you know, consumer drones of some sort. Hold on. I just got to get this.
And yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm in the middle of blowing the lid off some
make you feel? Giving a child his freedom.
Felt good.
You have been at this for 12 years.
My country, 'tis of thee.
Why are you doing it?
Sweet land of liberty.
Because God's children are not for sale. It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
This job tears you to pieces.
And where my fathers died.
And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
Land of the Pilgrims'
And yet somehow you have failed to bring me one real-world lead.
It's over, Tim. Close up and come back home.
So you quit your job and you go and rescue those kids.
Let freedom ring. Let freedom ring.
South of that river is all rebel territory. No one goes in.
What if this was your daughter?
So, she's gone.
Every year, thousands of children all over the world vanish without a trace. Some are sold on the international black market. A well-protected global conspiracy.
Human trafficking always seemed like such an uninspired phrase.
That has nothing to fear and no one to stop them.
Is it done?
We have a slight problem.
The American.
Until now.
Who sent you?
It doesn't exist.
Then why are all your friends dead?
You come, you'll see.
I'm Detective Lato.
Who are you?
Some have done bad things in the past, and once in a while we find something that makes us feel better about ourselves.
Stay out of trouble.
It's my favorite moment in life.
What's that?
Well, it's when the predator becomes the prey.
Who's the predator and who's the prey?
Sometimes.
Why all of this for a girl you've never even met?
This little girl means a lot to me.
Well, Facebook, Twitter, emails, phone calls. Over the past few days, we have heard from so many of you at home who are outraged over the suicide of a Polk County girl and the video of that sad event that's been posted online.
Yeah, Caitlin Nicole Davis's family and friends have pleaded with local law enforcement to get that upsetting video taken off the web. And tonight, the Polk County Police Chief has a message for those people. He says he has tried. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us now with more on the story.
And Deidre, the chief is really learning the hard way that once this material is posted on the web, it's almost impossible to take down.
It certainly is. This is really a very sad case. Now, the chief's department has been flooded with those emails, phone calls, those Facebook posts from people who are outraged that that video is being shared online, demanding that they do something. Well, the chief says legally his hands are tied.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish.
there is evil everywhere. Unknown to most humans, the world is ruled and directed by supernatural forces beyond their comprehension. Vampires and werewolves see humans as pawns in an endless battle for control. All of this is hidden from humanity. Vampire feedings are explained as gang violence, werewolf attacks explained as animal mauling. But now a mysterious force has imbued a chosen few humans with not just the knowledge of the evil, but with the power to do something about it. These imbued have become hunters.
Today, we are taking a look at our own fucked up little Twilight Zone. A place where the people who follow the rules do all the work. Yeah. We get the short and stubby end up our asses regardless. But worse than that, this is a land where too many children suffer and kill themselves, or simply vanish. Where we mostly refuse to talk or hear about the industry that is human trafficking, or the epidemic that is child suicide.
Two shipments of girls, a month apart, found in Los Angeles Harbor. Go. This isn't some random crime. These shipments were highly organized. The girls carefully chosen by a group of very dangerous men.
We're gonna make sure that coming to America was the worst decision Viktor Dragovich ever made.
The stats and facts prove people are bought and sold around the globe. And that sadly, child suicide rates skyrocketed after 2001. Not 2020. Not due to the pandemic. No. Kids have been killing themselves more and more over the last 20 plus years. Two of the most important humanitarian issues are largely ignored, and we are going to prove why.
You do what you do.
But money is still money.
Negotiation?
No, wait!
Over.
It is human nature to wonder what it would be like to never grow old, to experience utter peace and harmony. And it is also human nature for some of us to want what we do not have.
Alert! Area 12.
He's trying to remove the headpiece.
Do not delay the countdown.
And for others, to stand in their way.
We are participating in the outright theft of a world.
They were never meant to be immortal.
Who the hell are we to determine the next course of evolution for this people?
Radiation coming from the planet's rings continuously regenerates our genetic structure.
We're only moving 600 people. We'll be able to help billions. This is the moment we've planned for so many years.
How many people does it take before it becomes wrong?
How many people does it take, Admiral?
Who wouldn't be tempted by the promise of perpetual youth?
There are hard choices to be made. Send your ships.
Don't let go of this moment.
Looks like you're planning on doing some hunting.
Return to your quarters. That's an order.
No uniform, no orders. The environmental anomalies may have stimulated certain rebellious instincts which could affect everyone's judgment, except mine, of course.
Okay, Data, what do you think we should do?
Saddle up. Lock and load.
On December 11th,
Move these people out!
stand in defiance.
Definitely feeling aggressive tendency, sir.
Hold your ground.
If a court-martial is the only way to tell what is happening here, I welcome it, Admiral.
Join the rebellion.
Star Trek shows us a world where the Authority mostly does the right thing. They focus on creating a society that's not only peaceful, but prosperous. Given recent news developments, more than we thought possible from the show will become part of reality sooner than later. But what should have been possible from the start is the diplomacy and humanity found in the show. We have a system in place that divides us. Instead of looking at two groups who have differing ways of life and learning how to integrate them, we are pitted against each other and blamed for why progress cannot be made. Wait a minute. Why do we need any elected officials or a system at all if this is the result? If everyone is just going to act like bickering, tantrum-throwing children, and those we elect refuse to, accept that with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, kids need parents, but if they're going to be neglectful, irresponsible children themselves, then I think we kids could do just as good a job. Of course, none of this is considering the fact that they clearly want chaos. They clearly want us enraged at our neighbor, not at the abuse of power that destroys prosperity and peace for all.
If you want a vision of the future, Winston, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
A future where freedom becomes slavery, where privacy is forbidden, the past forgotten, and where living people simply vanish. Yet one man and one woman dare to love.
Can you get Sunday afternoon off?
Yes.
Take this.
Everyone knows. The thing that is in Rome 101 is the worst thing in the world.
We can't get inside you. We can't get to your heart.
Those in power have one job: create a functioning, prosperous, and peaceful society. Y'all had one fucking job. Instead of doing it, not only are you for some fucked reason creating suffering, but y'all act like it's all just chaotic fuck-ups, and that we the people are more to blame than you. Let's see here. We can play a little game to realize y'all be lying, and almost nothing we know is really true.
Big brother, we don't love you no more. Big brother, we can't trust you no more. They keep on pulling and pushing until we all end up wishing that now we can't take no more. Big brother, living like 1984.
Every day 1984, with the world economic form. Did I forget to mention social credit implementing the score? If you're kicked out then you poor, call get declined at the store. They got us divided and fighting, distracting us from the war. Poison our food in our water, confusing our sons and our daughters. You'll own nothing and be happy, convincing you less is more. Controlling the population, creating impatient nation. Have you complacent and placing all your trust in government agencies? What George Orwell had written today is no longer fiction. They implemented a system that put us all in a prison. They want you to be the bugs in the pot, not taking care of your body. No religion and worshiping government and not God.
Big brother, we don't love you no more. Big brother, we can't trust you no more. They keep on pulling and pushing until we all end up wishing that now we can't take no more. Big brother, living like 1984.
Government tracking our phones, everything we eat GMO. They want us all driving electric controlled everywhere that you go. I ain't riding with Biden and I ain't trusting Trudeau. But in fact, all these politicians, the wealth place around the globe. Taxing on carbon emissions, they don't want you guarding your children. They don't want you having no knowledge, they want us all in the prison. Gender confusing the youth, their agenda is proof. I don't trust these fact checkers every time they censor the truth. How we overpopulated if our birth rate is shrinking. Go ahead, ignore your instincts, morals right down the sink. All the freedoms that you thought you had, they gone in the blink. Sir, you're under arrest, you've had too much to think.
Big brother, we don't love you no more. Big brother, we can't trust you no more. They keep on pulling and pushing until we all end up wishing that now we can't take no more. Big brother, living like 1984. Big brother,
For one, why do all dictators enslave the people thinking it somehow frees them? It does not. In fact, the dictator becomes a slave to paranoia and fear. So, why do none of them serve the people and themselves? After all, it is the only way to ensure your life would be bliss and also not ended abruptly. Have we not studied history, fuckers? Like, why repeat failing patterns? Why is it that no matter where we go on this big blue floating rock thingy we call home, that those in power create misery and suffering, that none of them realize if you made the people happy, productivity increases further? If everyone is either rewarded for their hard work or provided for, you reduce, if not totally eliminate, crime and even mental instability, which is less a result of our fucked up brain chemistry and more a result of our totally fucked environment, which is being shaped this way for what could only be evil reasons. See? I could have jumped in right with the whole evil thing, but I wanted to prove I did the work to justify my cringe. They never want us to have a reason to unite. So powerful causes like protecting children barely even get lip service. And unless you be an evil witch, yo, that's pretty much the one thing we should all agree has to be done, should be done, needs to be done. Why are kids the ones who lose? How can we act like such grown-ups if we have failed our kids? And after all, if children are our future, then all kids are ours, especially if there's no one who actually gives a fuck about them. The good news in a bad news world is that we are being led like lambs to the slaughter. It's not our doing. They use our best asset against us: hope and love. We trust and hope for the best, and sadly, it can bite us in the ass if we are unaware. Those in power have shown throughout history that all they'll use power for is themselves, but not just out of greed, something worse. They outright enjoy and wish us harm. Why else allow or create this insanity that's ruining life for everyone? Except those who are crazy enough to want to deceive and create mass suffering. How can we all allow this unless they are mind controlling most people? I think our good nature, the fact we blindly trust those in authority, that we always look up asking to be saved, knowing they never will, is why they have gotten away with all of this. They must also have tech or powers that aid them. They made you all think it's hate that keeps us apart. It's not. It's fear. They make people so afraid that we act like a group of people is some kind of pest that we must leap onto a chair and kill it from, lest its ickiness gets to us. But what if we really just fear the oppression we feel every day and yet cannot put our finger on the source? We have this deep-seated feeling of something being wrong, of something watching, controlling, looming, or wishing to harm us. What if it's not you or I, but them, and they know this and use the fear they generate to turn us on each other?
Byers, your flight's gonna make an unscheduled stop in exactly 22 minutes.
Corner of Liberty and Washington. Lower Manhattan.
World Trade Center. I'm going to crash the plane into the World Trade Center.
I'll tell the flight crew.
Lanley, can you override the flight control system?
I'm working on it.
Sometimes you have to embrace the absurdity of life. We all know this shit was an inside job. They planted bombs, or just let it happen. Either way, they were behind it much in the same way they were behind Pearl Harbor, Not to mention the faked attack that started Vietnam, but come the fuck-a-duckery-dee on now! What are we even supposed to make of that opening clip? Like, did it really have to be that on the fucking nose? A government plot to fly a plane into the World Trade Center, airing like, what, 5 or 6 months before the actual thing happened? This is the strange type of shit that makes me distrust the world and realize, holy fucking conspiracy, Batman! We live in a very strangely fucked up world. That clip is also just one of many predictions regarding that infamous day, and while it is the most on the nose there can be, the fact that there are so many strange or eerie parallels that exist, regardless if you want them to or not, well, I find that all fascinating and think it warrants a real conversation. And here's my super duper A++ history test past reason why. Look, people, it is well established that both Pearl Harbor and the Gulf of Tonkin incident were lies designed to bring us to war to fatten the bank accounts of, well, bankers. Oh, speaking of bankers, another well-established fact is that they directly caused the Great Depression, if you study history. The banks have not only been fucking us, but the government too, which I find freaking hilarious. On one level, something that unites us all is that we're all being fucked without consent by the Federal Reserve. So, when I know these facts are not public knowledge, but the kind of shit we leave in the back of our minds, you know, like the fact that some politicians are stealing funds for the needy, and we just be like, hashtag same shit different day, yo. Well, that just makes me question why so much shit is hidden in movies or TV shows. You know, back to that opening clip. We also have so many other events that also seem to have been predicted by movies, games, or TV, and that is just fascinating because on some level, this could just be a really good guessing game. People in Hollywood know history, and no doubt are trying to use it like a crystal ball. But they own the money, so bravo. Still, they are like really on the money. Then you have a film like Network, which seems like a blatant call to arms and warning, yet somehow it was never taken as such. That's frankly over my head. I don't get it. Unless you factor in mind control, some kind of alien tech or wizardly powers, it just seems kind of fucking strange from my point of view. How about yours? Okay. If you never saw the movie, it's about a guy trying to warn everyone through his position on network television that the world's in dire trouble, that people need to be aware of the issues, and not blindly trust the corporations controlling the networks, who in turn control us because we believe the news. Even when we realize it's bullshit meant to divide and conquer us all. We somehow still trust it, just like we know the government's totally corrupt, but we still somehow blindly trust it. This is all depicted in the film Network, the blind trust, the fact that people are so asleep and seemingly only searching for entertainment, not enlightenment. I do not believe that to be true. I think people would care, but something is preventing them. Something is clearly keeping people from seeing the bigger picture. People are good. It is the leaders who are bad, who have set poor examples, who have failed to find compromise, who refuse to lead us into the future, who reject all responsibility, and instead seem to get off on causing mass suffering. Why do we accept this? Well, I refuse to accept it. That's kind of the point of this video. But I also refuse to hate or blame any of you for failing to see the truth. I'm legit stumped that so few people see it, but I digress. Oh, back to the wizardly powers thing. The Pope, the current one, he truly believes the devil is a real person with dark powers. So maybe it's all he who must not be named's fault. That's funny like a joke, but I also mean it seriously. Yes, I am also very well aware that I would be pissing off said Dark Lord with my work, which is pretty fucking cool if you think about it. I mean, I used to have anxiety. Now I feel the presence of evil, fight it off, and go about my day like a champ. When I saw my depression, anxiety, and all my crippling negative feelings as the darkness, as some type of evil force, that was the day I learned to stand my ground. Now that I know I can will my way out of bad feelings, I wonder why anyone would allow themselves to be controlled, attacked, or tortured by whatever those dark, negative, consuming, and depressing feelings are. I understand that fighting it off is a great challenge and that not everyone has the desire to find the will within to fight this crap off. But I do believe that is the Dark Lord draining you of your will. The more I fight back, the more energy I have. The younger I feel, the happier I feel. Fighting back is a tricky thing to start, though, because no one tells you how to fend off the darkness effectively. Well, we were told, but no one said it was that easy and that challenging at the same time, too.
But you gotta take orders.
Aye, sir. Me too. But Peter, how do we get to Neverland?
Fly, of course.
Fly?
It's easy. All you have to do is to... Huh, that's funny.
What's the matter? Don't you know?
Oh, sure. It's just that I never thought about it before. Say, that's it. You think of a wonderful thought.
Any happy little thoughts?
Uh-huh.
Like toys at Christmas, sleigh bells, snow?
Yep. Watch me now. Here I go. It's easier than pie.
He can fly! He can fly! He flew!
I do not think any of us are evil. I think we can be pushed into doing evil things, but if we're in control and aware, we can only do good things. We may have to act like monsters to deal with the monsters threatening all that we love. We may have to get stronger, but it's all for the right reasons now. We never ascended to powerful positions because we cared about everything else. The stuff that really matters. Love, passion, humor, and fun. It is time we fight for our right to party. See, not only will fighting back save kids, which should be a strong enough motivator already, but it will also make our lives better beyond comprehension at this moment. We know the truth. We just reject it, out of fear. And yet that's why we must accept it. Because exposing all this, knowing it, will destroy fear and evil. Their darkness cannot withstand the light. Once exposed, they will be powerless. We must circulate this information and truly open our eyes to the reality around us. It's our only hope to truly live, and for some, it's their salvation during their darkest hour. Won't you join me in this noble quest to free humanity? Okay, what about, won't you help me save your own ass? Or what about, who wants to live like a millionaire? Because we can. There's enough space, enough everything for all of us. We can help each other make cool shit. We can party. We can live and love. So, come with me to my world beyond imagination.
Hey, you grow back body parts now, Wade. When I'm finished, parts will have to grow back here.
Good one. Yep, that's a good one. Let's dance.
Well, hello there, and welcome. We are about to undertake a wonderful adventure through space and time, through our minds, through our dreams, and through our new reality. My qualifications are irrelevant, as we are basing this entire experience around tried, true, and tested mental healing methods. We're going to have a lot more fun with this than everyone else, because our geekiness is our super secret weapon. Regardless of what your belief system or lore is, the point of our healing process is to break this stuff down as simply as possible, using fun and easier to understand concepts that we can relate and vibe with. Because let's face it, we geeks got a shoulder up on everyone else. Let me show you what I mean.
Just like in the great stories, Mr. Frodo. The ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were. And sometimes you didn't want to know the end. Because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad had happened? But in the end, it's only a passing thing. This shadow, even darkness must pass. A new day will come. And when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. Those were the stories that stayed with you, that meant something, even if you were too small to understand why. But I think, Mr. Frodo, I do understand. I know now. Folk in those stories had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They kept going. Because they were holding on to something. What are we holding on to, Sam? That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo. And it's worth fighting for.
We need to realize we're living in the ultimate role-playing game. And thankfully, now that we have so many different types of role-playing games, all us geeks can finally get what that means. We choose our role, our character, our backstory, aka lore mixed with a belief system. And then we get to set out on the quest, adventure, or story of our own making. Already you can see how this is a healthier way of viewing the world around us. And I do not mean that to be a boast. What I mean is, why are so many negative, fearful, or just depressing models of reality being promoted? Could there be an evil villain responsible? Well, we'll get to all that fun shit soon enough. First though, we all know before tackling the boss, it's best to level up and then bitch slap that fucker. First, we isolate the attributes we wish to evolve. If fear, depression, grief, or rage are stealing your life force and glitching your game, then all we need to do is level up our strength and will to tackle these little demonic fuckers. This is where shit gets really fun. But first, we must acknowledge this is a battle for our life. And these methods are purely mental and spiritual magic, whichever term vibes more for you. Either way, this is where things get exciting, as we really get to fight some force that is trying to do us harm. And that is like totally legit! Fuck yeah, right? We could think we were broken, but what if we, the chosen heroes of creation, being targeted by a dark, overwhelming force? Could be, and either way, mental concepts like this are the best way to deal with a struggle that already is a fight. Why not embrace the heroic adventure aspect instead of the damsel in distress model we're taught? We can save ourselves, and then we can save others. To do this, pick your weapon for the dream fight. Music, games, movies, anything that inspires and cultivates will or allows you to feel an expression or even understand your feelings. Use that as fire for the fight, and then you can take the fight virtual, Code Lyoko style. pick a game and bring those emotions and problems into the game and deal with them then and there. You can also take it spiritual dreamy and create a story in your mind, visualize it, and play it out as a mental dream story game. That's what geeky creative people did before the digital age for fun. Now, here is where it gets trippy. You ever feel like, as you're trying to level up, become the best you, that the entire world is seemingly out to get ya? Like, it can't be, but we feel that way, and in a way, if you feel something that deeply, there's likely something true about it. Let's not get tripped up in detail though. Let's just realize that for the most part, if you face obstacles, that means we're going the right way. Never forget the great lesson. If you find an enemy, you're likely right on track. But here is the trap we are generally unprepared for. The only way to defeat these enemies and gain that much needed experience is to practice the art of fighting without fighting. They want to steal your peace. Simply do not allow this. Now, that is far from simple when you're so underleveled, right? No one even told us we could gain experience and get a handle on this, so that first fight is gonna be a Souls-like experience, if you get the meaning. But all you gotta do is ignore the attempt to steal your HP and go find a way to recharge your mana. We must focus on the things that bring a soothing or invigorating wave of feelings, which turns out are way more important to our well-being than pretty much anything else. If something or someone is making you feel icky, sicky, pukey, or like you just ate a toxic batch of sweeties, realize this is the enemy. And unlike most games, all we gotta do to win this fight is realize we're allergic to those things, or maybe they're allergic to us. Either way, we gotta find something good for us, and realize that potentially those things might be toxic on their own, or just when combined with us. Stress contributed to more health issues for me than anything else, and from a lot of research, it seems that stress is the big factor in most diseases or mental health issues, and also in recovery. Yet, we're never told that it's really important to listen to your music, play that game, or watch that movie. Wait, what? Yeah, it tripped me out too. My health started getting so much better, and my life in general, the more I focused on my joy, bliss, and finding a way to keep a happier, more positive state of mind. Which proved to me, holy shit, I had leveled up! Not only had I realized my life was better, the more I went back to the way I lived as a teenager, staying focused on gaming, music, and now weed, homies. But something really made me see through the dark veil. Or just realize, fuck, was it that simple? Is everything really alright because I believe it to be? And I'm living as if it is. Sure, bad things still kinda happen, but they really aren't bad things anymore, just obstacles to overcome. And just like a game, sometimes we're gonna want to throw our controller out the window! But the more we level up, the more we gain self-mastery and control. Well, that means replacing a whole lot less windows and controllers. The shame is that today's generation has lost a lot of abilities, and it's getting pretty bleak for some of them. The lower your level, the bleaker it can be. Notice how kids these days do not know the art of slamming a door and blaring some expressive music. Notice how a generation or two ago, a school shooting was avoided all because of Grand Theft Auto and heavy metal, or hardcore gangster rap music. Strange facts we ignore. Just like the fact that a game can provide a way more therapeutic experience if you simply aim for it than just talking about the things that bother us. Releasing those emotions, understanding, and actually getting to feel those things. That's the key. But we gotta do it in a controlled manner. It's so funny to me that violent gaming, violent music, and letting those feelings out in some kind of artistic or geeky way really is the healthiest way to handle feelings, because you can't escape them. You gotta understand them and express them in healthy, positive, beneficial ways for yourself. But that's something we're rarely taught. So many of our heroes have helper characters that only they can see and hear. And y'all, here's something you can take to the bank. A mental delusion cannot possess knowledge, data, information, or what have you that you do not have already. So if you predict or gain wisdom you never had by feeling the Force, Spidey sense, or by way of Cortana, Gazoo, Navi, again, what have you, then why are we not acting like that's the coolest fucking thing in the world? You mean we get help? Like, yeah, we're alone, but we aren't on our own? That's so freaking welcoming. That's so epic. To know that no matter how we label or define it, there's something watching out for us, teaching us, assisting us. That's dope. And the only reason we don't realize it or really embrace it culturally or in a bigger way is that we doubt it's even there. And that's when it gets less effective. If your guardians can open doors or move obstacles, but if a dark force can close or replace those obstacles, and you don't listen to the message to move thy ass, how can you reap the benefits? If so many of our heroes have to be in sync with their helpers to get the help, then why would that not be the case for us? We're not forsaken. We just keep hanging up and then dialing up the wrong frequencies. If the people around you make you feel awful, and the helpers around you wish for you to just chill and relax, or if they wish to help you make your dreams come true, or seek your path, why not follow? I mean, if the voice says, kill them all, let God sort them out, yeah, maybe tune that one out. But we know when the voice is trying to show us hope, joy, get us motivated, give us love, help us rebuild, or create something wonderful. If we fear that which comes from within, that which only seeks to love us, to tell us the things we'll enjoy, that keeps us from wasting our time, that pushes us to the dreams we tend to neglect, but that mean everything, then why on earth are we not, listening? Could it be that we have been shamed into slave-minded control by a society that would rather judge, guilt, and destroy that which they do not understand? Something wants to fit us all into tiny little boxes, and we're just not made up of that ticky-tacky shit, There is real magic, real phantasmic shit out there, and those who fear it have locked out, shut out, and beat down the best part of this world. But worse, those who need their helpers most are not getting the help in other ways they need. If hopping on board the crazy train can improve self-control, happiness, and your very well-being, if most people just coast through life, miserable and fearing feelings, then maybe the world went mad a long time ago. There is clearly so much kept out of reach, so much we are misled about, and why? But what really matters to me is that people are being made to suffer. The supposed help and methods available do not work, or the world would not be so miserable. I had to trust the voices in my mind, the visions that overlaid my reality, the pull, the tug, the push to better myself, to seek strength, but to also accept help from within, which is so trippy. No one but shamanistic or religious fanatics really talk about this stuff. I just woke up one day and went, fuck! All that shit I made fun of fucking saved my life? There really is an angel watching me and some force guiding all this shit? So why is it so hard to see the things that actually do just work out? I mean, all we actually had to do was just put in some effort and take a leap of faith, and then there you have it. Things worked out for the best. I'm proof of this, because my mind nearly snapped in two, but during that process, I became so much more than I ever knew. Yet I also know now, I didn't ever have to snap or suffer. If I had known this stuff worked, that it was a process, that there was light at the end of this tripped out psychedelic tunnel, well then, I would have just enjoyed the ride, like I did at Disney during the best times of my life. Or like enjoying a really good video game that takes you to soaring heights and fills your soul with feelings that are hard to forget. Why is this stuff kept in the dark? Big pharma, politicians, and mental health companies. Yet, if it is that simple and causes this much suffering, if there is a better way, and by the way, yeah, I know, I smoke a lot of pot, but all that does is make me chill and relax so I can better understand what's going on. In other words, I did all the work. The weed was just like that good friend who kept you going, reminded you to smile and never lose hope. But again, like, how is there no change in society? This shit is proven. We're not broken. It's not a chemical imbalance. It's an imbalance of perspective and dangerous misinformation. Still, why is it just weirdos like me saying what we already know? While watching a world that refuses to do something about the mass suffering inflicted on us all. I guess if kids barely have the will to game these days, then something must be sapping the will to live from us all. But wait a second, that's craziness, right? Well, the more you better yourself and break the world's rules in healthy, positive ways, the more you're gonna see strange things be afoot at the Circle K My Ohana. Welcome to Dream Heroes Healing, and congratulations for taking your first steps on the path of the Dream Hero.
Well, I've been pissing in a cup for a couple of weeks, and not a single fucking one is an indictment of me. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, whoa. I told the scientists who visit about the chemical drain, but nobody thinks I'm serious. They think I'm insane. I'm like, whoa. I guess I just don't know. And so I'm sitting in this room and I'm hooked up on IV, and I've been watching everything on late night cable for free because whoa, there's nowhere to go.
truth is out there and the American people have a right to know about it. They're demanding more transparency surrounding UFOs, or as the government calls them, UAPs, which stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. The lawmakers say the classified information that they have seen but cannot talk about would not put national security at risk.
It has become very clear and evident that there is an apparent an orchestrated attempt to deny us this access, and it appears that that is coming from the intelligence community. We have a rampant overclassification problem. We need the UAP Disclosure Act.
Every time we pulled a thread and we stumbled on something, it seemed that we would get stonewalled.
Former defense officials testified in a hearing earlier this year that the government has been too secretive about those sightings.
Either aliens are real, or all our minds are being fucked with. Because if aliens are not real, if this information is not being kept from us by intelligence organizations and, of course, multi-billion-dollar corporations, then what it all amounts to is a dog and pony show to fuck with our heads and distract us. That seems like a form of psychological warfare, and it seems to me that that would, stipulate a class action lawsuit on behalf of all of the American people. Because, we already realize that the news is, well, I don't want to say fake because somebody ruined that slogan. But when you can watch broadcasts from multiple news organizations, and not just, CBS Atlantis, CBS Los Angeles, but when CBS, NBC, and Fox, and all of these different local news organizations are all reading off of the same script, what the fuck's going on here? But of course, we've all heard that before. I mean, we haven't acted on it, but we've heard it before. That's why the most important thing to focus on right now is, yeah, either aliens are totally real, and I'm in the totally real camp because there's a shit ton of proof, and if you've had any kind of weird experiences over the last couple of years, if your life's gone completely topsy-turvy, and the only thing that has actually kept you alive has been weird spiritual or otherworldly type of shit, then, if you know kind of deal. But that's not what's really important. Again, what we need to focus on, what we need to keep reminding ourselves of, either all of this crazy but wonderful imaginative shit is real, because it means, hey, just like Picard said in Star Trek, things are only impossible until they're not, and we've just learned that impossible things are an absolute reality. Woohoo! Regardless, though, what I think is the most important thing right now is that we should all just be focusing on the one subject of, yeah, either our minds are being fucked with, or they are keeping complete, life-shattering, world-altering information from us that, could bring about world peace, that could very well make all of our lives better. Why wouldn't they want that to happen? Well, don't you ever sit down and ask yourself why it seems like the world is run by warmongers? I mean, the United Nations has armed both sides of multiple conflicts over the years. Isn't that a little strange? I mean, isn't the United Nations supposed to, work for world peace or some shit like that? At least that's what they sold us. That's what they tell us. But it doesn't seem like that's the fucking case now, does it? It's also very strange to me that no matter if it's Biden or Trump, they're all just stirring the fucking pot. They're all dividing and conquering and pitting us against one another. But that begs to life a few other questions that we could sit down and ask ourselves. I don't think the common person is stupid. I don't think that the world is full of morons. So that makes me wonder what the shit is actually going on that they could control so many people and have us work against our own self-interests. That's really fucking peculiar. I mean, I would believe that the only way to make some shit like that pop off and happen would be if you had either a technological or a supernatural kind of force that you're using to control people. Could it be fear? I mean, it seems like there are only two forces at work in the world, love and fear. And I mean, you could try to say hate and anger, but hate and anger are just a byproduct of fear. I mean, you're sitting there watching the new Star Wars movie, and you want it to be really good, but then it just doesn't deliver for you, and you get afraid. And why are you afraid? Because you're like, oh my god, this is the last time we're ever going to see Carrie Fisher and all of them together. And, you know, you just start feeding fear. It's a geeky allegory, but it basically fits. I mean, all of these people who are hating on shit are just hating on it because they're afraid that they've wasted their time. You know, they're all thinking that life is so fast and that, you know, you have to make every moment last, that they're literally ruining their own lives. It's like getting in a line at a theme park and realizing that the attraction you just waited 2 hours for was kind of subpar. You know, it's like going to Universal Studios and riding the Fast and Furious attraction. It's not the best ride in the fucking world, no. But you rode it. That's over with. You could sit there like going, oh my god, that ride sucked, I waited 2 hours. Or you could just go, I've ridden worse. Just like you could say after you walk out of the bedroom. And, you know, you could go on with your life and enjoy yourself. But that's not what they want us to do. At every turn in the world that we live in, there's just something that wants to make you waste your day. And the day's only wasted if your energy turns negative. Why am I going on and on about this? Because we're all having these negative energy-based attacks. You can call them panic attacks, you can call them anxiety attacks. What it basically boils down to, though, is that fear's literally coming to get us. And, you know, we think drugs, alcohol, or therapy, or breathing, or you name it, we think that, like, helps. But nobody ever really just sits down with fear and is like, alright, motherfucker, what you got? What have you got for me? Because that's a terrifying experience to go through. But if you've taken mushrooms, it kind of forces your ass into the situation. Once you've actually sat down and experienced fear over and over again in such extreme panic attacks, you start getting curious about it. You're like, okay, so what if I just, you know, stop responding to it? And then all of a sudden, it's like it wants to come after you harder. Hang on, time out. What happens the more you learn about your panic and you're just like, okay, I experience a panic attack in this situation, so I'm going to avoid this situation. If panic attacks actually work the way the doctors and people want us to believe, then you could actually avoid panic attacks. But as soon as you start avoiding panic attacks, a lot of us have learned, holy shit, that motherfucker starts chasing you down like Michael Myers. What's going on here? That seems to be more a product of evil or some supernatural force than just, yeah, you went through some tough shit, you developed PTSD, and certain triggers bring on anxiety attacks. I mean, that would be normal, right? But a lot of us, even those of us who've never been through anything traumatic in our entire lives, can be sitting in bed trying to sleep, and all of a sudden you realize, holy shit, I'm having a panic attack. And then it just gets worse from there. I mean, you try everything. You try pills, you try everything, but it just never really works. I mean, it might dull it, it might mute it, but at the end of the day, you still have this fucking monkey chasing you down and crawling up your back. And this is why the government can sit there and maintain control on a certain level, because a lot of us believe the authority figures around us, which, you know, when it goes to show that they're lying to us about world-altering, life-shattering information, or just fucking with our heads, it would stand to reason that trusting them isn't a good idea, because whatever these people have in mind clearly isn't fucking good. Look around you. The people who do the work, the people who follow all the rules and do as they're told, still suffer. They're still living a struggle-filled existence. That's bullshit. You play by the rules and your life's still dog shit? What the fuck is that about? Most importantly, you know, at a certain point, you can sit there and actually realize, holy fucking shit, these people aren't just greedy. This is something worse. This is some form of sadism. Because if these people were just greedy, then they would want America to be the most prosperous nation possible. They would want to make sure that everybody's feeling comfortable so that they can work at their best, so that they can make sure that whatever little cog they got to spinning, they can spin at their absolute finest. But that's not how America works, you know. It's the whole dog-eat-dog mentality, you know. Life isn't fair bullshit. Why? Everything in this fucking world is just an imagined creation. We imagined Congress. We imagined a nation. It takes all of us, you know, committing to that imagined creation to make it a fucking reality. I mean, Steve Jobs could sit there dreaming up all that shit, but he needed the smart people around him to actually make it a fucking reality. And that's what goes on. You have these people who dream up wonderful things, and then they need other people to fulfill and make those wonderful things a reality. And yet all of the people who make everything a reality are the ones who end up getting fucked in the ass, just like Carlin fucking warned us about. But, you know, when you listen to a lot of the stuff that Carlin warned us about, it's like, yeah, remember that Rockefeller, the creation of the Board of Education, said that he was not in business of making a nation of thinkers, he was in business of making a nation of workers. So that falls back on the old Carlin joke of, you know, they want people just smart enough to run the machines and dumb enough to not know how badly they're being fucked in the ass. But how can you have a nation that literally exists like that for years? I mean, we have the internet, we're in the age of information, and yet they can still pull the wool over our eyes? People are still going to waste their time protesting over Israel or Palestine instead of, you know, fixing our issues here so that then we can be the role model to the world. And when it comes right down to it, siding with either Israel or Palestine is fucking stupid. Because what we should be siding with is peace on both sides. Because you have the people over here going, yeah, 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 Israel, and yeah, 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 Palestine. And then underneath all of those people, you know, the hundreds who can shout louder than the thousands, well, those thousands are the ones who are suffering and being blown to bloody bits on each side. I also find it very interesting that, you know, Israel shows exactly how wonderful of a country they are, that when people on their side of the border start protesting on behalf of Palestine, they get their police to just beat the shit out of them. Doesn't that make Israel look like a bunch of awesome, cool fuckers? And then, yeah, you got these other people on the other side of the aisle who decide that killing women and children is a good thing. Oh, but wait, Israel does that too. They're both guilty of exactly the same shit. But then you also tend to find out that their president over in Israel knew about the attack a fucking year ago. Yeah, that just came out in the New York Times. Oh wait, hang on. America knew about the 9/11 terrorist attacks before they happened, and yet they allowed them to happen to justify the Iraq War. I mean, even if we don't sit down and go, it was an inside job, somebody planted bombs, let's just scrape all that shit to the side. We know that they knew, but then there's also, you know, the whole problematic issue of Building 7 not being hit by shit and then just, you know, collapsing in on of itself because it got really depressed seeing Towers 1 and 2, and it decided, fuck it, I'm going too. But then you also have a news reporter who's going, Tower 7 has collapsed, and we can clearly see over the bitch's shoulder that it hasn't collapsed. And every time I watch that news report, all I can think is, there's somebody, somewhere, like Danny McBride in Tropic Thunder going, shit, we were supposed to blow it, now, hit the detonators! And then they did, and it just collapsed right after she says it had already collapsed. Like, you cannot make that shit up. It's fucking real. You can Google and find the video. I mean, they try to take it down, but it stays up there. People keep reposting it. And then you also have the fact that, you know, the United States knew about the Pearl Harbor terrorist attacks. And that actually, if you read into history, that they don't teach you in school, those attacks were spurred on. You know, they tried to act like, oh, it was this unjustified, we didn't do shit. Yeah, we cut off their oil. We cut off the oil to Japan due to their war with the Chinese. And then, you know, they also want to make the Japanese at the time look totally fucking brutal and like it was unnecessary, and yet China had invaded Japan like years and years before, maybe even hundreds of years before. I'm a little shady on the history of that. But that conflict had been going on for a really long time. And, you know, what was our solution? Let's just nuke a city. Don't you think we should target, I don't know, a military installation? No, fuck that. Let's kill women and kids and civilians to show them we ain't fucking playing. Does that not sound familiar? Oh, wait, hang on. Did you know that Israel was formed by genocide? Like, I'm not talking about back in the day. Like, originally, Israel was full of the Jews. All right, that was their place. But then they left. They went to a bunch of other countries, and things did not go so well for them historically. We know that as a fact. So they wanted to go back home, but instead of going back home and sharing the home with the people who have then, made it a home, they went around bombing mosques and committing acts of terror, and then they ran to the United Nations, and they're like, yo, is this shit cool? And the United Nations was like, abso-motherfucking-lutely, because we did something very similar when we formed America. I mean, there were these people who were already calling the land a home, but we were just like, fuck it, we can do whatever we want to these people. They're savages, no one's gonna give a shit. Did you realize that when we fucked up the people's water at Standing Rock, that thing that some people have tend to forgot about, Obama was the president then, not Trump, the one who was all about helping people. You do realize all of those initial protests over police brutality and violence was when Obama was still in office. I mean, yeah, it carried out under Trump, but it started with Obama being in office. Why are you talking about that? Obama's a good guy. So then why, when the recession hit, and part of the recession was that a bunch of these banks stole their clients' money to fund their own shit, and what then happened? Did they get punished? No. They got payoffs and handouts by the government so they could keep running because they were too big to fail. And what happened to all the clients' money that was just stolen? You remember that scene from fucking South Park where they're like, and we have and it's gone. That's exactly what happened to people. Their entire lives disappeared before their eyes, all because crooked businessmen can break the rules, and that's totally fine. Meanwhile, you run a red light and your life gets fucking destroyed by the justice system. These people destroy countless lives, leave people homeless. What did Obama do? Go fuck yourself. Go out in the cold. That's literally what happened. There was no system in place to help those people who literally got fucked in the ass by a big red, white, and blue dick. And yet we're seeing the consistent fallout of that now. Why do you think people are homeless right now? Why do you think there's such a homeless epidemic? It's all fallout. Everything's fucking connected. And yet there are so many people who are talking and thinking like this and sharing information like this. So what is happening out there, folks? Why is it that you only see mass protests when it benefits those in power? Did you ever think that maybe these mass protests you see are kind of like our version of the purge? That maybe, just maybe, the people that you're protesting against or for actually own these groups, and that the protests aren't really about solving anything or making any kind of political change, but it's just about letting you all vent your anger because we all know that there's something terribly wrong going on around us, but we don't know what the fuck to do about it. Maybe the thing to do about it is to focus on one specific cause. And that one specific cause is we cannot trust anyone in charge. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on, because what's truly going down is that the powerful want to hoard and keep all that power for themselves. And it would be nice to think that it's just because they think people need to be controlled because we're fucking stupid and they need to shepherd us. But as I said, we can't even think that these people are just greedy. Because if they were greedy, they'd run the ship better because they would want to, make a profit. It's kind of a logical formula. But instead, what you look around the world and see is nothing but constant misery and suffering. Why would that be? Because that's what they want. Why would they want that? Well, if there are actual supernatural forces at work or aliens at work, it's obvious that they're, in some ways, feeding off of this, but in other ways, just getting off on it. Food for thought. Does America look like a movie or video game to you? I mean, it is in some ways. But the reality of us little people, the common person being a criminal, killer, or some horrible monster, is so far from reality that we fail to see how many good people are around us. Sure, good people can be asses. We can piss you off. We can cause arguments. But the truth is, no matter how hard we are pushed, we never push back. We speak out. We try and find rational, peaceful solutions to the issues that plague all our lives. But even those with training, access, and the anger to commit acts of terror in the name of peace never do. We know the powerful, those in control of all our lives, steal from the poor, and we can plainly see that those with power love to make all our lives a living hell. They love to blame us. They love to target us. They love to create false drama, all so that we either snap or just to distract us from their crimes. I believe they use some kind of tech or some kind of dark powers to create such distortions to reality, because we all basically know the truth and yet can do nothing to stop these monsters. Maybe the truth is stranger than fiction, or maybe they just fuck with all our heads till we have no clue what reality or truth really is. Even the police are underpaid, underfunded, and of course, this is all to create the perfect storm. To quote High School Musical, we really are all in this together, even if it doesn't always feel that way. Short of speaking out or trying to maintain the system from within, none of us really have solutions to these problems, because again, we know the issues. We know how badly we're being fucked. And deep down, there's a little George Carlin within us all. We know the score, and we all at some point took our shots. Some of us never gave up. Some of us came close to losing our minds. Some of us snapped, and some of us went through it all and kept on trucking. So how can the world look this way? How can our country be like this? Well, now you might understand why I bet so hard on the supernatural and paranormal answers to these questions. After a while, it's really the only thing that explains how we all can be turned on ourselves, our loved ones, and how they can keep us in submission through constant fear, so-called anxiety attacks. How stress comes from every occupation, every day of school. Every day we know deep down we're fighting to survive, fighting to have a life, fighting just to stay alive. I don't have all the answers, but I do know a lot of truths. And I do know that if we came together and kept shouting, kept pressing, and kept exposing these crimes against us all, then the truth would finally set us all free. Like those of us who feel crazy, broken, beaten down, or out of control. Those of us who deserve help because being too weak to fight the insane battles just to stay alive, just to have a life, is not a crime. But it certainly is treated like one. Those who cannot put up with the pressure are programmed or thrown away. They are given little other choice. Those of us who need the most help are thrown in jail, abused by their healthcare providers, ignored by their families, or worse. Some of these people are children, and I am sick of seeing children suffer. We are all children to a certain point, but the real children of America are killing themselves in record numbers or are being trafficked, sold, abused, and violated. These issues are never front and center, because then we might have some motivation to take a stand against these grave injustices. During the recession, we had a president many felt was a hero. I thought of him as that way too. I wanted to believe his kind words, his soothing voice, but there are things that don't add up. Standing Rock would be one of them. But mainly, how could banks steal from their own clients, cause homelessness and starvation, commit such crimes that many just gave up, and yet those criminals were bailed out, spent no time in jail, and the little people who suffered were left out in the cold? Sure, at times, we blamed Congress. We still do. We act like it's one side against the other, and the bad side just won't let ours win. But wait a cotton-picking minute here. The same can be said when the other side is in power, or attempting to make some kind of change. They just point the finger at the other side, and we're just supposed to accept that, 1, this is how diplomacy and democracy works, and 2, that it is one party against the other, and shit just can never get done, because they're too busy playing Mortal Kombat with all our lives. Come on now, let's see the truth. The powerful have one side, theirs, and they play us all for fools and film episodes of Keeping Up with Congress to keep the illusion of choice, and the illusion of a broken system, that the problem isn't the ones running it, that the problem is you and me, and just that people can't get along. Our system could work very well, but again, let's face another set of facts here. There are better ways, and the system's only true job should be to create a peaceful, productive, and prosperous society for us all to inhabit. Sure, even in Star Trek, the Federation can commit crimes or become corrupt. But it's always due to a few bad apples, when in our reality, there are either no good apples in any positions of power, or so few that the rotten ones have polluted the entire bunch. We have been told by various sources that there are unexplainable things flying around, with tech that exceeds all on this planet by like thousands of years. Now either they're fucking with all our heads, or they're keeping life-altering, world-altering information from us all, and this cat is coming out the bag. And not only does it prove that all of these powerful people have the knowledge that would change everything, and in my opinion for the better, but it also proves that they are using either this false narrative or the truth to control us all and to distort our minds. I trust in things I cannot see, because those things have saved my life countless times, provided comfort, and never judged me, or asked me to bow down, or commit, submit, or force me to think, believe, or conform to anything that was outside of who I am. All they have done is to inspire me to fight for you all, to try and do the right thing, and to better myself, where I knew, but did not know how to fix issues that made my life worse, not better. In listening to these voices from within, I have begun to truly take control of my life in a way I never have before. I have fought off fear, I have found sanity, and yet even allowed myself to become delusional in the sense that I have hope. I believe we can and will have a happily ever after all this evil bullshit. I've wanted to give up, I've been terribly afraid, but through it all, I keep going like the damn Energizer Bunny, because there are no other choices to make. After all, I have made those other choices and they suck, and only make life more miserable. And yet, that seems to be the goal of the powerful, to make our lives nothing but misery and suffering. Yet, when we listen to the colors of the wind, we can find hope, salvation, and determination. Those colors never asked me to worship. They asked me to love my life, to be grateful to be alive, to find happiness even when I felt miserable. Those things are challenges, but they make my life better for meeting and exceeding those challenges. I thought I was too weak to do so, but they remind me that I'm stronger, braver, and smarter than I ever thought or knew, and that truth applies to us all. They've never left me behind, they never abandoned me, they always came for me, and that's why they're my spiritual Ohana. We have a cosmic family out there somewhere, and Ohana means family, and real family means we're never left behind, alone, or forgotten. No matter what happens, something is fighting with and for us. And that means so long as we listen, trust in our hearts, and know that we choose love over fear all day, every day, somehow, some way, things will work out, and those who tried to harm us all so horribly will pay one way or another for their awful crimes against humanity and our family. Grimmy Bear, wherever you are, your husband loves you and knows you love him. I'll never give up on our destiny.
Tell us, Mr. Wayne. What do you fear?
How do you know my name? The world is too small for someone like Bruce Wayne to disappear.
Your parents' death was not your fault.
My parents deserve justice. I cannot let that pass.
If you make yourself more than just a man, then you become something else entirely.
Which is?
A legend, Mr. Wayne.
time for lonesome.
As long as it takes to show the people of Gotham their city doesn't belong to the criminals and the corrupt.
Bruce?
Rachel?
You were gone a long time.
I know.
Things are worse than ever down here. What chance does Gotham have when the good people do nothing?
No make survival suit for advanced infantry. Kevlar utility harness, gas-powered magnetic grapple gun. What's that? On the tumbler? Oh, you wouldn't be interested in that.
I spent a lot of time being scared for you. I heard you were back. But the man I loved, the man who vanished, never came back.
He's here. Who? The Batman.
Gotham must be destroyed.
Gotham isn't beyond saving.
Just hold on.
Guy dresses up like a bat clearly has issues.
He was consumed by evil.
For as long as you can remember, you've struggled against your own black heart.
Shoot through him.
Every man pays a price for redemption.
I'm not looking for redemption.
You have no choice. But I will teach you to use your black shadow to fight evil.
He became the Shadow.
I didn't see anything. I swear.
Dump him.
Who's there?
Did you think you'd get away with it? Did you think I wouldn't know? Now, when the world is in danger, report.
Police investigation of murder. Agent advises inquiry.
Who knows what powers stir in the night?
Whatever you did, it's in the past.
Join me. Inside you beats a heart of darkness.
I do what I do to fight back the evil inside me, but some part of it is still there, waiting.
Genghis Khan conquered half of the world in his lifetime. I intend to finish the job.
And when the adventure begins,
Activate the bomb.
who knows where it will end? Alec Baldwin, John Lone, Penelope Ann Miller, and Tim Curry. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow.
Just take a look around. Darkness rules the earth.
In a dangerous world.
Governments crumble. Chaos reigns.
In a treacherous time.
There is opportunity in chaos.
Evil is a fact.
We shall succeed where they have failed.
Drax is on a quest for a supernatural power.
They know far too much. And courage.
Stop them. You're the only one who can.
Is a phantom.
Who was that guy?
Somebody I already killed. There are some who say he is only a myth. Soon they will discover the Phantom is real.
V?
Ah, bonjour, mademoiselle.
I just wanted to apologize for my reaction last night. I understand what you did for me, and I want you to know I am grateful. Your hands.
Yes. There, that's better. I hope I didn't put you off your appetite.
No, please. It's just, you all right?
Oh, yes, I'm fine.
Can I ask what happened?
There was a fire a long time ago. Ancient history for some. Not really very good table conversation. Now, would you care for a cup of tea with your egg?
Yes, thank you. I'm starving, actually.
Have a seat.
That's delicious.
Good.
God, I haven't had real butter since I was a little girl. Where'd you get it?
A government supply train on its way to Chancellor Sutler.
You stole this from Chancellor Sutler.
Yes.
You're insane.
I dare do all that may become a man who dares more is none.
Macbeth.
Very good.
My mum. She used to read all his plays to me, and ever since I've always wanted to act. In plays, movies. When I was 9, I played violin. 12th night, Mum was very proud.
Where's your mother now?
She's dead.
I'm sorry.
Can I ask about what she said on the telly?
Yes,
Did you mean it?
every word.
You really think that blowing up Parliament's going to make this country a better place?
There's no certainty, only opportunity.
Well, I think you can be pretty certain that if anyone does show up, Creedy will black bag every one of them.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
And you're going to make that happen by blowing up a building?
The building is a symbol, as is the act of destroying it. Symbols are given power by people. Alone, a symbol is meaningless, but with enough people, blowing up a building can change the world.
There was that ant that stood up to me.
Yeah, but we can forget about him.
Yeah, it was just one ant.
One
ant.
Yeah, you're right. It's just one ant.
Yeah, boss. They're puny.
Puny? Say, let's pretend this grain is a puny little ant. Did that hurt?
Nope.
Well, how about this one?
Are you kidding?
Well, how about this?
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life.
It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible. Where we go from there is a choice I leave to you.
Loyal Hyrians. War has reared its ugly head on your planet.
We are going to keep this short and sweet, because this is the biggest story of all time, and it needs to be told honestly and without theatrics. This is not clickbait, and without further ado, we live in a world where we have more than enough proof to suggest there is far more out there than we have been led to believe. We have waited over a decade for a sequel to what is considered to be one of the greatest games of all time. A game that took inspiration from The Legend of Zelda and was able to be more than a copy. In 2023, the lead designer of the sequel died suddenly at the age of 40, after controversy removed the game's original lead creator. This is due to the fact that the first game was not only about human trafficking, kidnappings of children and adults alike, to be used for nefarious purposes. As it turns out, it was about the energy of all those kidnapped, to be utilized to keep an evil being alive, a being who has terrorized the galaxy. The evil beings have a base on the moon in the game, and we have been told by various sources, including the retired head of Israel's space program, that there is a base on the moon and a galactic federation. In the news, whistleblowers have revealed information that makes the first season and more of the X-Files a true story as well. You will find that now, with the evidence we have, it would seem that most of our entertaining non-fictional stories are truer than our own supposedly recorded history. Seems funny, but that's also the thing. If this wasn't a conspiracy, you would see jokes about this, we would be talking about it. But instead, the biggest story ever, with so much pop culture to discuss and theorize, to wonder about, is like the fart no one mentioned. As I have uncovered, this all dates back to Egypt, and the oppression of the common person that began there, and has never ended. Those in power abuse those who make life possible. For some reason, we the people who create the buildings, who run the power stations, who provide medicine, food, and are essentially the cogs that make this machine of life, this world, and society possible, are never given our due. We are in fact subjected to lifelong struggles, all in an attempt to not only steal our life force, the energy meant to give back to us and all that we love, but also so that we are too weak, beaten, broken, and exhausted to see the truth of our corrupted reality. You may now feel scared, but there is no reason to be. These evil forces may wield fear as their greatest weapon. They attempt to paralyze, condition, and hold us back with anxiety and worry. However, this is proof of their cowardice. They have no ultimate power other than the ability to mess with those who have not discovered the power to control their feelings. For all this to be true, all the authority figures and services are in some way in on this, whether they know it or not. Thus, the best way to combat this injustice is to expose their lies and contradictions, and simply trust in the truth that makes sense. Human trafficking is very real. The fact that it's being covered up as some kind of Trump or QAnon conspiracy is proof that those in power want those who oppose Trump to think of human trafficking as a joke, as something to not worry or protest for. And, as a matter of fact, you will see that the only mass protests that happen are in fact staged by those in power. They drum you up and tell you what to march for. Kids go missing in huge numbers, never to be found, in a digital age of facial recognition. The idea of human trafficking is mocked, when it's a serious issue that is very real, with plenty of factual evidence to confirm this is not a joke, and is something we must fight, if you care about humanity. Mind control is real. Shit, from marketing and the launch of the iPhone, we can see that. They pull your strings. They want you angry, not at the oppression of all of us. We are all one after all. We are all the powerless, who enable the powerful. And the powerful want us at each other's throats so we never realize, there are way more of us than them. And they're clearly terrified of us. And the day we realize, we are way more powerful than we realize. I would have laughed this all off years ago. But I have gone through too much, seen too much, and empowered myself way beyond what I ever believed was possible for myself to doubt the truth I feel, sense, hear, download, discover, and am led to by the force of love. So, trust me when I say, I battle this fear, this monster daily. It is weak and cowardly. It attacks our health, our minds, and our souls. But we can fight it off with the force of will and love. I have done so, and I have seen far too much proof to doubt what I've learned. I choose to fight this evil. I chose to be a shield, which is why I am the chosen one, because I don't wish to be anything more than a hero to those in need. Not an emperor, not a dictator, not even a captain. Just a hero willing to fight the greatest evil ever known. I do so because a great love empowers me. Her name is Christina Grimmie, and it is because of her that this is possible. Her energy guides me, empowers me, protects me, and allowed me to see the incredible truth. A YouTuber like me, who made it to the big time, whose love was The Legend of Zelda and anime, as well as gaming. But her whole thing was Zelda, because she is Princess Zelda. If she was not, then Beyond Good and Evil, a Zelda-inspired game, would not include her likeness as the lead hero. If she was not, then Robin Williams, the truest hero to those in need we have ever known, and one of the biggest and most famous Zelda fans, would not have a daughter who looks very much like Grimmie named Zelda. It sounds so out there, but it's because it's so imaginative and wonderful. It makes sense. You only doubt it because it's incredibly wondrous and ultimately very mystical. And that can be scary to some. But it shouldn't be, because it's the way a child would see the world. It's about trusting in the good and letting go of the negative. There is an internet prophecy called The Nobody, about a truth teller who shall free us from oppression. And considering the amount of work and shouting I do, I'm pretty sure I am the nobody. But also, the nobody is you, because we are the same, but different. We all believe and cherish the same things, just in a different variety of flavors. So trust in love, joy, and what makes you happy. None of us are made happy by hurting others. Sure, we like to finish fights, defend ourselves and others, but they know deep down we're all super good peeps who just want to party. So they make us think we're lesser, evil, or crazy for things that bring us joy while harming no one. Their oppression is the true evil, and that's the only thing worthy of hate. So evil? Let my people go, or face the wrath of a very pissed off nerd with attitude.
'Cause even the stars, they burn. Some even fall to the earth. We got a lot to learn. God knows we're worth it. So much. No, I won't give up. No.
My goal in my career is to inspire people, is to get my music out there and have people enjoy it and really think of me as an inspirational artist.
That I can make a difference as they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got. Yeah, we got a lot at stake. And in the end, you're still my friend. At least we didn't tend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without the world caving in. And I had to learn what I got and what I'm not, and who I am. I won't give up on.
I love my mom and I'm happy I got to do this for her.
The skies get rough, giving you all my love. I'm still looking up. I won't give up on us. God knows I'm tough enough. We got a lot to learn. God knows we're worth it. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. Still looking up.
You're strong, so own it. Love, me.
I published this article 1 year before I had a massive mental breakdown. I was arrested. And it was while I was homeless, struggling to survive, and living in the car with my mother. Not to mention that at the same time, my father was dying in another state of cancer. Don't feel sorry for me. Truly, I feel sorry for all of you. Trapped in a world of lies, controlled by a sick group of rich elites who care only about causing your suffering so they can get their rocks off. I had forgotten about that article, and that I really was speaking out against the powers that be for a full year before my life was upended. People struggling, suffering, people breaking down. Yeah, let's dogpile. Yeah, let's treat them like dirt, like criminals. Make them think losing control due to pain is a crime. That's what sick sadists do. That's what this planet does, and it's done for a reason. Our planet is under control by a tyrannical force. They seek to cause nothing but suffering and oppression. They keep us from the truth of the world, which is far more wonderful and spectacular than you could even believe, let alone imagine. I hate that so many like me are trapped, feeling as if they might be crazy. You are not crazy. This sick and twisted fucking world is crazy, but it can be healed. It can be saved. We can all be saved. I'm here to save you all. I suffered through this, and I have the proof. I am the witness to the crimes of the powers that be, and all I've tried to do is help us all. I need your help. Make this go viral. Help me take down the criminals destroying lives, killing kids, and watching us all suffer like it's a fucking episode of the damn Kardashians. We are dead sick. We have given you the truth. Now, unite, fight, expose, and love. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. You are all my Ohana. Even if you choose not to help me, I will fight for you all. Their injustice will not stand. We matter. We are worthy. This world is ours. They will fall. They will lose it all. And we will gain it all, I promise you. I don't know how long this will take, but I will spend my entire life, if that's what it takes, fighting to put an end to this evil, cruel bullshit, so that we may all live happily ever after all their sadistic fucking crap. Thank you so much. The Force is with us, and we are with the Force. Evil, your time is up.
One day you wake up and realize you're not sure who the good guys are anymore.
You're a federal agent involved in a secret FBI program.
Off the books.
What kind of bad stuff do you do?
Breaking and entering. Physical coercion. You name it, I've probably done it.
Murder?
Not on my menu.
Grandpa!
Gabe, I've been thinking. Maybe it's time I hang it up. No, Travis, not enough. I know I wasn't a great father, but I'd like to be the best grandfather I can be.
Natalie doesn't need a fixer like you. I've been writing about the story for over a year. The United States government is killing innocent civilians under the guise of protecting democracy.
Under whose orders?
The director of the FBI. How many more have to die for you to stop looking the other way?
You need to come clean, Gabe.
You're confused about our relationship. You are my weapon. You work for me.
Count me out.
You show me a little gratitude if you want a normal life.
My end is now. Where's my family? If I find out you had anything to do with my granddaughter disappearing, you're gonna need more men.
You'll be finished before the day is over.
Everything I did was for you!
Are you really gonna shoot me, Travis?
Yes, I will.
Grandpa, are you a good guy?
I wanna be.
You ever think, maybe I should just kill myself? Then realize, yeah, but with my luck, things would actually start to work out right after. Maybe that's just me. I'm broken, down, but never out. Frustrated, but somehow never willing to throw in the towel. The state of the world literally makes me sick. Or maybe that's just all the evil ones I piss off on a daily basis. Still, I would rather fight for a better tomorrow than give up today. That's the hardest part of life to get a handle on. We're filling our buckets day by day. That's the moment that changes everything. When you realize this is not a futile struggle. It feels that way because something wants us to give up, lay down, and die. But all we have to do is keep filling those buckets and taking them up the hill. If we stop the process, if we give up, then yes, it was all for nothing. But the only true measure of success is to never stop fighting until the fight is done. When we can let go of the negativity wishing to pull us under, when we can see something is happening, things are changing, things are improving, and all those times we're nostalgic for, they're the ones in which we felt less negative, the times we just went for the ride. Being aware of that is hard, because all those good times kinda just happened. The more we aim at it, the further away we feel, not because we are so far away, but because we're too aware of the target. We know we can hit it, and instead of taking aim, we allow frustration to take aim. Letting go of those fears, those worries, is hard, because they take such a strong hold of us. But all they can do is hold us back, trip us up, and ruin any good we might find, like that line delivery. Sometimes we're also pushing too hard. Something wants us to jump all those hurdles at once. But that's when you stumble, become annoyed, and contemplate giving up altogether. We must know our limits and only push ourselves slightly beyond, because that's how we grow. But most of all, that's how we keep from losing progress. We rush through everything. We rarely savor the moment. We miss out on what works and what does not. Overthinking has done us no good. Life's not complex, it's simple. The asshats just want to complicate it, to keep others out, to stop others from progressing. If we can take a truly negative situation and find the positive, find hope when all is hopeless, then all that keeps us from doing that again and again is the thought that we cannot. But when all good things happen, it's not from a thought. Whenever you feel good, it's a feeling. And that's the issue with the world today. We think too much and feel too little.
But I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Those with spiritual beliefs or an understanding of the paranormal and supernatural realms might consider what I'm about to do stupid. But, well, I've already been doing it for months, and they've already shown that, well, evil's got no follow-through. They're like little children. All they can do is play tricks on you, distract you, and, I mean, yeah, they can attack you spiritually in a way that affects your physical health, but if you're delusional enough, all it really does is just empower you. Because, as all gamers know, when you find enemies, turns out you're going the right direction. And I've been going the right direction for quite a long time now. I just didn't fucking know it because I did not apply the gaming philosophy to my life. But, well, I'm beginning to not only apply the gaming philosophy to my life, but all of my philosophies, and sitting down and rewatching all of my videos and realizing, holy fucking shit, I was actually pretty much 80% right. And, you know, that's good enough for me. I never cared about being an A+ student anyway. All I really care about is knowing that you, evil, exist, and that good exists, and all you're really doing right now is drowning them out with your bullshit volume. But that's the thing. It's a matter of frequencies, which means that we can change the frequency. And if we start dialing up the right frequencies, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do the same exact thing to you that you've been doing to us. And that gives me such hope. It gives me such pride. I mean, I know exactly how everything's going to end. All good things are going to live happily motherfucking after all your evil bullshit. I can't quite tell you exactly how it's going to happen, but I've got thoughts about it. But most of all, I have feelings about it. And if I look into all of my feelings, I understand that, holy shit, we've been at war with each other for quite a long time, just like I thought. And today is the day that I started whooping your ass up and down the battlefield. Because today's the day that I've decided that I'm just not going to fucking give up. Sure, I might have my lazy fucking days when I need to recharge thy batteries, but even on those days, if I feel your wily presence around, well, that's when I can kick my ass into gear and start kicking you in the fucking nuts or whatever the fuck you have. Personally, what I'd really like to do is just take two 45s, 1911s preferably, and blow your ass away, spiritually, of course. Because we all know that if you kill the physical being, you know, the spiritual evil just fucking goes out into the ether and you gotta start all over again. You gotta target them spiritually. You gotta fucking destroy their spirit the way they're trying to destroy our spirit. And all I have is a little question for you, evil. How does it feel knowing that you've met your match? And that all it took to meet your match was pissing off a stupid kid at heart who just doesn't know when to fucking quit, and who's obsessed with 80s action heroes. I mean, we know that they win in the end, they just get their ass kicked a little bit beforehand, and well, since I've had my ass kicked already, I think it's just about time that we win. After all, 2024 is going to be a very special year. It's the year that you die.